After entering the castle courtyard, the red neon writing Haydn catches your eye. It hangs above the entrance of the Sala Terrena, pointing out that the extravagant exhibition Haydn Explosive, a European career at the royal court of the Esterhazy, takes place here. Standing in the neoclassical column gallery, the colourful carpet by the American pop artist Roy Lichtenstein surprises. The signal colours are exemplary for the gaudy robes of Haydn's time, worn by the ladies and gentlemen when striding through these halls. They are in great contrast to the white and strict architecture of neoclassicism, characterized by the continuous symmetry and the virile dominant alignment of the columns. But precisely this symmetry is broken by the slightly laid carpet. In the column gallery, a powerful clap of thunder attracts your attention every 7 minutes. Now the connection becomes apparent. The ceiling fresco from the National Academy's ballroom in Vienna, beneath which Haydn once heard the last performance of his oratorio, The Creation, is on fire as a large-scale projection nearly expanding over the entire ceiling. There is still a patter. Suddenly the tuning of instruments is perceived through the noise. It originates from the members of a quartet, which will be seen soon. An enormously augmented hand moves over the ceiling and lets a bow glide over a string. The tuning of the instruments softens the chaos of the bang of creation, and the order of a staff appears on the ceiling. Shortly after, plants appear and morph into the outline of an English garden, the one that Nikolaus II had laid out. Soon bugs crawl over the entire ceiling. A huge creepy crawly drags itself over the garden and spreads its wings. On its back is the outline of the older garden, when it was still in the French style, which the splendor-loving Nikolaus II and his Rococo society may have wandered in. The video installation's loop then dramatically builds up to the explosion of the ceiling fresco again. Four high-end projectors are merged into one enormous large-scale projection through edge blending. The audience is presented with a huge, seamless projection nearly spanning over the entire ceiling, a technical and logistical challenge exacerbated by the low ceiling height of only 4 meters. The projectors are fitted in cases made of mirrors, so they don't interfere with the room's visual impression, for the carpet's pattern is reflected. This characterizes the multimedia installations of Haydn Explosive, as the media is integrated into the exhibition's scenography, just as an interior designer from the Rococo or Neoclassicism would have made use of it. The media merely supports the extensive adornments and iconographic programs. It's being utilized for the sole purpose of letting the illusory space appear even more sophisticated and suggestive. A designer back then would have enjoyed having another design tool for playing with the techniques of illusion. For Haydn Explosive, all the walls of the Sala Terrena are decorated with wallpaper designed by Margit Nobis, Franz West, and Rudolf Polanski. They are called hermeneutic wallpapers and are especially designed for staging knowledge, the exhibition technique of the curator Herbert Lachmayer. 18 monitors, 10 for adults and 8 at children's height, are embedded, neither prominently nor sunk, into the wall as completely borderless flat screens, merely outlined by the wallpaper's margins. This makes it possible to let the wallpaper's pattern reappear on the flat screens every 50 seconds, just as if there was no clipping at all. The screen sequence, which explains the exhibition's context, pauses for a moment and the wallpaper reappears in the clippings. When the screens display the wallpaper again in order to pretend that the complex technology merely completes a piece of wallpaper, the simulation capacity of technology becomes clear. For once wallpapers themselves were a medium of virtuality in order to flee the room's rigid architecture by means of imagination. As the flat screens display the various screen sequences, they become part of the 18th century's concept of wallpapers, an alterating panorama of the basic concept of the techniques of illusion. The aesthetics characteristic for technology have been particularly avoided for Haydn Explosive, and a discrete implementation was favoured. Furthermore, the scenographic concept hindered the development of high-tech's usual minimalistic style. The high-end media was seamlessly integrated into the aesthetic overall picture, continuing or even completing it, and functioned as a central device for mediating the exhibition's content. This has been continued in the quartet room. The levitating projection of the Haydn quartet envisions the atmosphere of chamber music. The musicians are projected on a finely woven gaze screen. The image of a scene in the room of Count Fries shines through. The musicians therefore become part of the setting, but seem detached at the same time. A neighbouring monitor synchronously displays the score's notes, making it possible to see which measure is played at the moment. Once in a while, an instrument pauses so that even the non-professional listener is able to relate to the quartet's composition. The projection being less than 2 meters away from the background image lets the musicians appear life-sized. The projection's acute angle prevents the visitors from being dazzled by the projector's beam. The particular media installations are perfectly matched to each other by synchronization of the media implementations and operation via a central server, and therefore result in a medial overall concept. While the ceiling of the Sala Europa is visually and acoustically shaken by the explosion, the virtual quartet is silent. The musicians patiently wait for their entry, which is at the same moment as the tuning of instruments is projected on the ceiling. From now on, the music played by the Haydn quartet additionally serves as background music for the adjoining Sala Europa. The further media installations are matched to the architectural conditions as well. For instance, the large-scale rear projection in the opera room is fitted into the shape of the room's arches. The front projection in the so-called Viennese room is precisely fitted into the space curves and, as animated wallpaper, serves as visual counterpart to the sound installation. This way, the atmosphere of an 18th century drawing room is created.